This is the beginning of tape number 1 in the deposition of Dang Pham, also known as Venerable Thích Giác Đẳng. We are here in the matter of Đạo Tràng versus Vietnamese Unified Buddhist Association of Utah. Case number 1109-11069. The case is pending in the 3rd Judicial District Court in and for Salt Lake County, State of Utah. Today's date is December 18th, and the time is 2:37.
So let's go.
My name is Rosalind Savatic. I'm the videographer, and the court reporter is Kathy Miller. We are with Court Reporters Clearinghouse. Will counsel please introduce yourself for the record, and would the court reporter swear in the interpreter and the witness?
Dallas Nordstrom on behalf of plaintiff.
Grace Acosta on behalf of the Vietnamese Unified Buddhist Association of Utah, Mr. Hoa Vo and Mr. Chuck Vaughn.
Ms. Stuart Harmon on behalf of Tuan Tran.
You solemnly affirm to interpret from Vietnamese to English, English to Vietnamese to the best of your ability?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
Will you raise your hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And sir, you speak English, but we have a Vietnamese interpreter here in case you need some translations. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, so if you don't understand a question and you need it translated, please just let us know and we will accommodate that request. Would you please state your full name for the record?
My last name is Pham, P-H-A-M. The first name is Đăng, D-A-N-G.
And where do you reside?
Houston.
And are you assigned to a certain temple or do you work at a certain temple?
Yes, I'm the abbot of the Pháp Luân Buddhist Culture Center in Houston.
What was the name of it again? I'm sorry.
Pháp Luân Temple, P-H-A-P. Another word is L-U-A-N.
Have you ever had your deposition taken before?
You in regard to this case or the other case?
Any case.
Yes, yes.
In what other matter did you have your deposition taken?
Regarding to one matter in California. Yes.
And what's the name of that case?
The case is regarding to the monk in Pomona, to one of the lay person. Yeah.
So there's a lay person making a claim against a monk in Pomona?
Right.
And how are you involved in that litigation?
Because they asked me about how Buddhist organization function. Yes. Is there any kind of central command over the temples and the members? Yes.
So are you involved in any other litigation besides that one in California?
No.
All right. Is there any litigation pending about a dispute with a Swedish Buddhist temple and some lending of money to the United States?
Well, that's something that not the legal matter. They always just try to have you talk about us. Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your answer.
They just make the post claim, but we never go to the court for anything regard to that.
All right. So were you deposed in that matter?
Yes.
So you were also deposed in that matter as well?
Right.
And so where was that deposition held?
We never go to the court.
Oh.
To that one.
Okay, so I asked you if you were deposed in that matter involving the Swedish Buddhist temple, and I thought you said yes, but did you say no?
I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. Yes.
Okay, so no deposition in that matter.
No deposition. Yeah.
All right. Has that case been resolved?
Well, it's happened more than almost 20 years ago, and that kind of things is just they try to make to create the wrong rumor, the wrong rumor, just like defamation toward my teachers. Yes.
Okay.
But it's never go to the court.
All right.
And never. There's no legal action whatsoever regarding to that.
So, what information do you have about why the Phổ Quang Pagoda was transferred to the Congress in 2000?
Big.
Well, at that time, there's one gentleman. He also a member of our executive council. I believe he's in this room, and that's the lawyer Trưởng Văn Thuận. All I learned is that he and his people want to to donate the property to the church, to the Congress. Yes.
And who told you that?
I was in the meeting,
Me-
the annual meeting.
So it was raised at an annual meeting?
Yes.
In what year?
I couldn't recall, but it will be a long, long time ago. Yes.
All right, so are the annual meetings held at every 4 years approximately?
No, this is an annual meeting.
Oh, annual meeting.
Annual meeting. Yes.
Gotcha, okay. So this is an annual meeting of the Congress, is that correct?
Right.
And do delegates from pagodas attend this annual meeting as well?
I did not remember, but I remember Mr. Trần Văn Thuân. He's the member of our executive, executive board, so he's supposed to be there. Yes.
Okay, so then who attends the annual meetings?
The president, the vice president, the secretary general, general, and treasurer, and the commissioners. Yes.
I didn't understand.
All right, president, vice president, secretaries, and
Treasurer.
treasurer,
Yeah, treasurer. Yes.
and then commissioners.
Commissioners. Yes.
And then,
Are the earphones hooked up?
okay. Is it working? Should we go off the record for a second, or do you want to figure it out?
We are off the record at 2:44.
Okay.
We are back on the record at 2:54.
All right, prior to taking a break, I had asked you who attends the annual meetings, and you were identifying those people. And I think you had told me the president, the vice president, the secretary, the treasurer, and commissioners. Is that correct, sir?
Correct.
All right, so you remember attending a meeting and being told at that meeting that Tran and his people wanted to transfer the pagoda. Is that correct?
Right.
Did they explain why that transfer wanted to happen? They wanted that transfer to happen?
I couldn't remember exactly what they said, but they are. There's a kind of believing that it would be better to serve the local Buddhist congregation somehow. Yeah.
And so do you remember if there was any discussions about it being problematic?
Yes.
Okay, and
Yes.
what discussions did you have about that?
We have learned that there are several, some groups within the congregation that have a conflict with each other somehow.
And so that was discussed as well?
Actually, because the annual meeting has many items in the agenda, so I believe that what we heard is very general, not much in details.
And so did you have any discussions with any of the other members of the executive board outside of the formal annual meeting about the conflicts between groups at the Phổ Quang Pagoda?
Vague.
I don't recall any meeting outside the general meeting. Yes.
All right. And so after the pagoda was transferred to the Congress, do you recall if the Congress took any steps in regards to that pagoda?
Vague.
I do not. I do not remember. But I know somehow one of the most venerable Thích Giác Đẳng, he went there on behalf of the Congress to look after the temple. But I do not know exactly how that happened. You know.
So was that not something that was discussed among the executive board to assign him there to be a spiritual leader?
I believe in that case, if one temple is transferred to the Congress, and if we send someone over there, we supposed to have the meeting. However, at that time, I'm not in position to attend every meeting, so I remember.
Do you remember what your title was with the Congress back in 2000?
I'm the commissioner of mass media.
And what does the Commissioner of Mass Media do?
Mostly in terms of communication with the public, kind of public relation. Yes.
And how long were you the Commissioner of Mass Media?
I don't remember exactly, but probably more than 15 years.
So are you currently the Commissioner of
No,
Mass Media?
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did that term end?
In 2008. Yeah, 2008. Yes.
And were you assigned a new position?
Yes. I became a commissioner of culture. Yes.
And how long were you the Commissioner of Culture?
Since 2008 until now.
Do you have any other titles within the Congress?
Yes, I'm special assistant to and the personal assistant to the president.
And who is the president now?
When I was the personal assistant to the president, who is my teacher, and he passed away, and actually due to his illness, he's no longer in that position since 2011.
Okay. So, and who was that? Who was your teacher then?
Venerable Thích Giác.
Okay.
Yes.
So you were the personal assistant to the Venerable Hoyak
Yes.
until 2011.
Right.
All right. And after 2011, did Hoyak retire, or did his title change?
He retired and he became kind of the deputy patriarch of our of United Buddhist Church of Vietnam. Yes.
The deputy courier, is that what you said?
The patriarch.
Oh, the
Patriarch,
deputy
yeah.
patriarch.
Patriarch. Yeah.
All right. So from 2011 until now, did you have any other titles other than Commissioner of Culture?
I have become Secretary General of the Congress.
All right. And so what years did you hold the title of Secretary General?
Since 2011.
And what are your duties as Secretary General?
Number one, my responsibility is just to assist the president, and also to oversee the projects and work regarding to administrations of the Congress.
When was the first time you visited the Phổ Quang Pagoda?
I don't recall when this first time is, but it's sometime after the Phổ Quang Pagoda transferred to the Congress. Okay. Yes. Because we organized one annual meeting over there. Yeah.
So the executive board held one of its annual meetings at the Phổ Quang.
Right.
Do you remember what year that was?
I don't recall what year.
Do you recall if there were any problems with between the Venerable Chan Lak and some of the members of the pagoda?
Objection vague.
I have heard that.
And who did you hear that from?
From several people.
And who were those people?
From the media, and I think some of the members of the congregation called Venerable Thích Giác, the president, and he asked me to receive the call. So I have heard about the problem between Venerable Thích Giác Đẳng and the members of the local congregation.
And would that have been in, do you remember the year that phone call occurred?
Somewhere between, before 2004, I believe.
And do you remember who you spoke with in that phone call?
No, I didn't remember.
Do you remember anything about that conversation?
Well, they make several complaints about Venerable Thích Giác Đẳng. Yes, they complain he run the temple like a dictator.
Okay.
And he had the verbal abuse about certain members of the congregation, and they have found that his leadership is unacceptable in many ways. Yes.
And do you know if the Congress took any action in response to that phone call?
Objection assumes facts not in evidence.
Well, sometimes that's kind of thing mentioned in the meeting, but I did not recall any action. Yes.
Do you know if Venerable Thich Chan Lok ever stopped being the spiritual leader to the Pho Quan Pagoda?
I don't know, but when I was sent over there, he's no longer spiritual leader of the Pho Quan Pagoda.
And when were you sent?
I don't recall exactly, but probably sometime after 2004. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a group called the Vietnamese Unified Buddhist Association of Utah?
Well, you know, there are several. There's some group over there, and usually they are known by Vietnamese name. And then when you say the English name, the legal identity on the paper, it's hard for me to recall. Yeah.
Okay, so were you aware then that there was a group at the Pho Quan Pagoda that went by some Vietnamese name? Were you aware of that?
Objection vague.
I'm not clear about this matter.
Okay, so what's the name? What's the Vietnamese name that you remember being associated with a group at the Pho Quan Pagoda?
You know, when I was sent over there, all I know that the property of the church transferred to the Congress. And there are several groups, fighting, getting conflict with each other. And my point of view is that for the best that we can do for them is that we get representatives from each group join together as one group, and we transfer the property back to the group with the representative of different ones. Yeah.
Okay, so when you say there were two groups fighting at the Pho Quan Pagoda,
Misstates prior testimony.
would that have been before the transfer or after the transfer to the
After
Congress?
the transfer.
Okay, so after the transfer, you went back to the Pho Quan Pagoda, and did you meet with two different groups?
Yes,
Misstates prior testimony.
I tried to sit down and talk to all of them. Yes.
All right, and do you remember if the groups had any names?
No, I don't recall it. Yes. Usually they just go to the temple, and I know this group and another group whom belong to, but I do not know the name of the group in English, actually.
Okay, well, do you know the names in Vietnamese?
No, I don't recall the exact name of the group. Yeah.
Can you give me an approximate name in Vietnamese?
I don't think there's a certain name for the group, but I know that there's a certain deviation. One group against the others, and they disagree about each other, but I don't know exactly.
All right, and do you know any members of either group?
Can we just clear up the record?
Yes.
He's saying groups. He never said two. So
Okay.
I just want to make sure
Yes.
that you're
All right,
not
so
stuck
I
on
said
two.
either.
Yep, but
Sure.
you've been saying two.
Do you know the names of either groups?
You know,
Or excuse me, the names of people that were in either group?
at that time I know them, but now I don't recall the names of who belong to what group. Yeah.
And so do you believe there were more than two groups
Yes,
in dispute?
I think that there are at least four groups. Yes.
All right. And do you remember how many people were in these groups?
I I don't know exactly what the number of the people in the group. Yes.
All right, so you indicated that you had a meeting among all the people. Is that what you said?
I tried to have a meeting. I want to see all of them because I do believe that the best interest for the people is that to get the representatives for all the groups to join together as one organization. And from there, we transfer the ownership of the property back to the local congregation.
All right. So was that what you wanted to do, or is that what you did?
That's what I wanted to do.
All right. So you wanted to transfer the ownership of the pagoda back to the group that you believed was in charge?
Not to the group in charge, but the group who has the group who represent all the groups.
All right.
Yeah.
And so how were you going to determine who represented all the groups?
Well, when I talked to them, I asked everybody to join together, and it's better for them to be elected by all the people. Yes.
And did you hold an election at the Phổ Quang Pagoda?
Not the actual election, actually, because it's hard to define who's the membership of the people. People just come and go at the temple. So I try to make it as large as possible, as many as possible. Yes.
All right. So when you say you tried to make it as large as possible, are you talking about this meeting that you called?
Yes.
And how did you tell people to come to this meeting?
Well, I just asked the people to inform everybody at best. So if anyone can come for the meeting, for the gathering, it would be as many as possible. Yes.
And was this meeting held at the Phổ Quang Pagoda?
When?
Was it held at the pagoda?
Yes, at the pagoda.
All right.
Yes.
Do you remember how many people were there?
No, I don't.
Can you give me an approximation? Like, was there 100?
To my understanding, there's more than 70 people. Yes.
All right. So, of these 70 people, did you ask them to vote for leadership of the pagoda at that time?
Right.
Asked and answered.
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember if they were able to reach a consensus as to who was going to be their leaders?
Well,
Misstates prior testimony.
they able to get a number of people who are responsible for certain responsibility. However, later on, when I went back to Houston, I have learned that people have done several things that beyond my knowledge.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So what did you learn they had done beyond your knowledge?
Just like they invited monks outside of the Congress, the monks I don't know about, without informing me that they want to invite such monks. And I try to ask the people to let me know what's going on in order for me to help them. But I have learned that they just want to do their way without letting me know exactly what's going on. And I did not have enough time just to be there all the time. Yes.
So are you the abbot of another pagoda?
Yes, I'm the abbot of the pagoda in Houston.
Okay, so then this is this is an additional pagoda that you took on. Is that correct?
Yes, only temporary one.
All right. And so, were you actually ever formally assigned to the Phổ Quang Pagoda by the Congress?
Objection assumes
The
facts, not
Congress
on evidence.
asked me to go there without the official documents. Only asked me to go there and to help. Yes.
Okay.
All right. And so, did you ever ask the Congress to formalize your appointment as the spiritual leader for the Phổ Quang Pagoda?
No,
All right.
I did not.
So, were you then the unofficial, if you will, spiritual leader for the Phổ Quang Pagoda for a set period of time?
Yes. Everybody understands that the Congress and the local congregation.
All right. So then, if you will, it was an unspoken understanding that you
Yes.
were the spiritual leader for the Phổ Quang Pagoda?
Right.
All right. And so, do you know how long that appointment lasted for? Unofficial appointment?
Actually, I believe it that up to 2 years, responsible for taking care of the Phổ Quang Pagoda, I learned that I was not capable to make any improvement to to improve the situation, and also things just getting more and more complicated. Since I had no time, and my teacher's health getting worse and worse because he's diabetic, and I think I need to have more time with him. So in one meeting, and when I told the Congress that please find someone else who have more manpower, more times to look after the Phổ Quang pagoda. Yeah.
All right. Do you remember what it was you asked the Congress to find someone else who has more manpower to go to Phổ Quang pagoda?
I do not remember exactly the time, but I think sometime after I was sent over there. I went over there for 2 years, and afterward I asked the Congress, please look for someone else.
And do you know who that person was, or if they assigned anyone after you?
Actually, the Congress could not find anybody to be responsible for that.
And why not?
Number one, the capable one already has several responsibilities. And secondly, the situation is too complicated. It's just getting worse and worse until we able to ask member Thích Trí Lãng, who volunteer to go over there and to look after the temple.
All right. So when you say the situation was getting too complicated, what are you referring to?
I believe that number one, the groups in the temple, they simply divided. It's hard for them to agree with each other. And secondly, I think the people who say they're not sincere enough for me to work with, because they did not let me know exactly what was going on at the temple when I was not able to be there. So and also the people, the members of the congregation told me that there are several monks invited to go to preside over ceremony. They're from Vietnam, and for our Congress, when we talk about the monks come from Vietnam, without knowing exactly where they come from, it would be something that we believe is very complicated. It's very complicated for us to handle.
So having a monk that's not affiliated with the Congress come to teach at the pagoda, would that be what you would call in violation of a rule?
It's not a violation, but because the property belongs to the Congress, and when the monks go there and preside over the celebration and have an activity without our knowledge, it would be unsafe for us.
Unsafe? What did you say?
I mean,
unsafe.
When unsafe. Unsafe. That means when we don't know what they do, what they talk about, and who they work for. So that the property belongs to under the name of the Congress. That's why we call it too complicated. Yeah.
So was the objection to having these monks come and speak, did it come from the fact that the title was held by the Congress?
No, it is. Let me say this: the situation in Vietnamese community is quite complicated about the fact that we have monks who willing to cooperate to work with the communist government, and monks who work for the Unified Buddhist Church, which is oppressed by the Hanoi government, by the Vietnamese communist government. I would not say who's work for communists and who would not work for communists, but we always have to be very careful about who we work with, because we need to know the background.
So-
and those one we don't know about the background, so we think it's too complicated.
So the objection then is that these people may have had affiliations with communist groups back in Vietnam, and so until you know who they are?
I wouldn't say that. I would say that. But the problem is that since the property under the Congress name, when they do something, they're supposed to inform the Congress. And they did not inform us about that kind of things when they invite monks to come to them.
So when you were the non-official spiritual leader to the Pho Quan Pagoda, were you aware that there were groups having meetings and purporting to run the pagoda?
States prior testimony assumes facts not in evidence.
It's beyond my knowledge. I don't know much about since then.
Okay, not since then, but how about the time that you were there? Did you know that there was a group that claimed to have a board of trustees that was in charge of the pagoda?
Same objections?
No.
So did you ever attend any meetings where you saw a group of people say that we are the officers of the pagoda and we're conducting this meeting?
You know, I only work with the people when I was there and they are elected by the local members and with my knowledge. And beyond that, I don't know.
Okay.
But I told you there are several groups, so everybody can claim anything. But at that time, there's certain individual who elected by the local members of the congregation, the local congregation, and I know them. I work with them.
And are any of them in this room?
That's one gentleman over here, Mr.
Mr. Hoavo?
Yes, right.
So
yes.
You remember him being elected at the election that you were talking about?
Yes, I think he's one of the members who he elected. Yes.
How about Mr. Tan Tran? Do you remember if he was there?
At that time, I went to visit him one time because I think he's the one who offered the transferring of the property to the Congress. But I did not recall that he has any position. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so do you recall there being any discussion with this group that they believed that they owned the pagoda and that the Congress didn't own the pagoda?
To me, understand that the ownership of the property, the judge who's the owner of the properties, and what we want to do, that we want to withdraw. We want to withdraw from the temple, but we don't know how to do it in the way that because when we give the temple to this group, another one's object, and we give to another group, and this one will go to object, and we have the responsibility to make everybody happy. So I told you before that what I'd like to do is that I want to tell them that the best interest for all of you, just get the representatives from each group, and when you're able to form one group with representative for all interest group, so we're going to give the property back to you. In that way, everybody happy.
Right.
Yes.
So do you know if at the time that the Congress
Cover
was,
your microphone.
that the land was transferred to the Congress, whether or not the transfer was made in order to help alleviate the dispute among the groups?
I'm sorry, can you just repeat
Sure.
that one?
Do you know if at the time the transfer was made to the Congress,
Yes.
if the decision to transfer the land to the Congress was in an attempt to help resolve the disputes between the parties?
I believe that's the reason.
Okay.
The reason.
And so why do you believe that?
Because Mr. Trần Văn Thuận, he's the who was the member of our executive, the board of executive. He told the meeting that that there are several fighting between small fractions inside the congregation. So in order to alleviate that kind of conflict, it's better for the Congress to accept the transferring. But you know, I do understand that at first no one wanted to accept the property.
Okay. And so was there ever any discussion that Congress would hold it for a period of time and then it would go back to the group once they resolved their disputes?
We do not know about for the future. All we know is at that time is that how to help. That's all. We did not talk about the future. Yes.
And so at the point in time when you came to the pagoda in about 2004 and you said to them, I'd like to give it back to you, where did that idea of giving it back to the group come from?
Actually, it's come from me because it came from me because I think there's several people that disagree with each other. So it's better for them to have their voice, to have their vote, to have their participation to decide about the future of the congregation. And it would be I try to localize the situation.
So, other than the Pho Quan Pagoda, do you know if the Congress has ever held title to any other piece of land?
No. But recently, I have learned that there's one situation in Philadelphia. Yeah, the Philadelphia. But until now, I believe it's beyond our knowledge. The thing's still under investigation. Yes.
Okay. Other than this, you mentioned that you came out and had a meeting with 70+ people, and there was an election of some sorts, and a panel or a group of people was elected to be the leaders of the pagoda. Would that be a fair way to say it?
Vague, compound.
Well, I couldn't remember exactly the number of the people.
Okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter. But a group of people that was significant. It wasn't
Yes.
like three people. It was a group of people.
It's a lot of people.
A lot of people. Okay. Do you know how long those people were supposed to be the leaders of the pagoda?
Objection assumes facts not in evidence.
I couldn't remember. But I think it seems to me that at that time we tried to get the people work together first, and later on we asked them to write a bylaw and to write an article of incorporation. But unfortunately, I was not able to go further than that.
Okay. So did you have any more contact with the Pho Quan Pagoda after that meeting where you came in and helped elect a panel of people?
Afterward, I visited several times later on after the election. But I told you, what happened is that I have learned that things just slip out of my hand rationally. I mean, the people just work their way without cooperation, without informing me what's going on over there.
Okay.
And sometimes I simply get lost about what's going on because someone told me, well, there's one monk coming in here for the celebration and another one who do this, do that. But I did not receive the information, I mean the clear information. That's what happened.
So who was it that you were speaking with that was telling you that monks were coming to the pagoda?
The member of congregation, but I also read the invitation letters post on the phowang.org. Yes.
All right, so you would check the Pho Quan
Yes.
Pagoda's website?
Yes.
All right. So do you recall receiving any requests by members of the Pho Quan Pagoda to come out and speak, but you weren't able to satisfy those because you were otherwise occupied? Or
Assumes facts not in evidence.
I believe that it's not because I don't want I did not have time to go there, but actually I feel that when I work with the people, that's have a mutual understanding, and I have mutual respect, and I did believe that the people did not respect me in the right way that I could work with them. So I decided let them run by themselves because anyhow, I'm supposed to be able to help them. Mm-hmm. If they don't want my help, so why should I bother to go further? But things just get too complicated.
So did you think that the people at the pagoda did not respect the Congress?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Not all of them, but certain did not respect the Congress.
And so did you think some of the actions at the Pho Quan Pagoda were against the Congress?
Objection misstates prior testimony.
I do not know, but let me tell you that it's just the way that when they work with them, I tried to get the cooperation from them, and they did not let me have enough information about what's going on over there. Just like they want to invite monks, we don't let me know. I'm supposed to be the one who know what's going on over there. So that's why I think they did not have the proper respect first.
Do you know if when the Pho Quan Pagoda was transferred to the Congress, if the Congress required that any local organization be dissolved or no longer exist?
Objection assumes facts not in evidence.
I do not recall. I do not know about that. Yeah, because at that time I was not in position to look over the matter.
And how about when you became the unofficial spiritual leader to the Pho Quan Pagoda? Did you require that any local organizations be dissolved and a new one be put in place?
Same objection.
I did not ask everybody to do that because, you know, I do believe that my purpose is to get the people work together. I would not ask them to dissolve or would not ask anybody to do any other thing besides try to get together. That's all I want to do.
Do you know who has been responsible for like the maintenance and the payment of utilities and things of that nature at the pagoda since it was transferred to the Congress?
Compound assumes facts not in
I
evidence.
did not know who's, but when I went over there, I asked the people to choose certain individual to responsible for running the pagoda. So I believe those people, the chosen one, would be the one who is responsible.
And you indicated that after you left, you felt like they stopped listening to you and started doing their own thing. So would that be fair?
Yes.
Okay. So after you helped elect this board that was supposed to run the pagoda,
Misstates prior testimony.
then you don't know how long that board operated for.
Right.
Okay. Do you have any way to keep track of like emails that you may have received from the Pho Quan Pagoda asking you to come and speak to them or visit them for ceremonies?
Assumes facts not in evidence.
I could recall because, you know, I think my email has been hacked.
Okay.
So probably they sent to my old email in which I couldn't get information. But I told you that I received less information from them.
Okay.
And to a certain time that I know nothing about what's going on over there.
Okay. So did you try to contact them on a regular basis, people at the Pho Quan Pagoda?
Misstates prior testimony. Assumes
No,
facts not in evidence.
No, because I told you that as a monk, I'm supposed to work with the people, have the mutual relationship. I mean, we respect each other. But I feel that they didn't want me to go over there. So it's better for me not just to push on, not to ask for anybody, but I informed the Congress that I want to resign from the position and ask Congress to take over that.
Okay. And so when you resigned...
Just a second. The
Sure.
videographer needs him to stop flipping the papers.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So when you resigned, do you know how long it was before the Congress appointed someone else to be the spiritual leader for the Pho Quan Pagoda?
Asked and answered.
It is very, very difficult to find someone who go over there because, I mean, I told you things just get too complicated, and nobody want to go there actually. Yeah.
Do you know a gentleman by the name of Tay-Fan?
Can anybody tell me in Vietnamese pronunciation what you say?
Tay-Fan, T-E-P-H-A-N?
Oh yes, I do.
How do you know him?
I have heard that he was the leader of the local Buddhist youth group. Yes.
And do you know if he at one time was associated with the leadership of the Pho Quan Pagoda?
I have
Assumes
heard about
facts
that.
not in
I
evidence.
heard that. Yes.
And do you know if there ever came a point in time where he stopped being a leader at the Phổ Quang Pagoda?
When I was there, he was not there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was not there in 2004?
Yes, but when I was
Asked and
there,
answered.
I did not work with him. Yes.
And have you had any contact with Tay Phon since you left the Phổ Quang Pagoda?
No.
Do you know if he has had any contact with anyone at the Congress associated with this lawsuit?
Assumes facts not in
I don't
evidence.
But you've never had occasion to meet with him or speak with him?
Relevance.
Well, I went to his temple in October. In October, we have the annual meeting over there this year, October this year.
So what's Tay Phon's temple's name? Do you remember?
Linh Hoa Temple.
How do you
Lien. And another word is HOA.
So do you know if Lin Hoa is affiliated with the Congress?
Yes,
And do you know when they became affiliated?
I don't.
And so the executive board held its annual meeting at Lin Hoa this year in 2012.
Right.
Is that the first time it's held its annual meeting there?
Yes.
Do you know who is assigned as the spiritual leader from the Congress to the Lin Hoa Pagoda?
I don't know.
Do you remember any issues about the Phổ Quang Pagoda coming up at the 2004 General Assembly?
2004
04.
General Assembly for Phổ Quang Pagoda.
Yes. Do you remember? And what I'm specifically
No, I don't.
asking about is, do you recall if there were two delegations from the Phổ Quang Pagoda that both wanted to speak at the General Assembly?
Asked and answered.
I don't recall it.
Okay. Do you recall speaking with anyone from the Phổ Quang Pagoda before the 2004 General Assembly about problems?
2004. I don't speak with them because I'm not in position to talk to them to discuss about the matter.
Okay, but do you recall having any discussions with them about the problems with Chan Lok and that he was going to resign?
Asked and answered.
No,
You don't recall that at all?
I don't recall it.
Okay. Do you recall there ever being a point in time where it was on the agenda that two groups from the Phổ Quang Pagoda were going to speak, and then that matter was taken off the agenda?
Asked and answered.
No, I don't recall.
When the group was elected in 2004, when you came, what did you expect that group of people to do?
Misstates prior testimony.
I expect the group would serve all the people, all the groups, instead of for the interest of certain group, because it's kind of agony. That kind of internal conflict went on several years. So, I think later on, there's kind of a bias. I mean, it seemed to be controlled by certain one group instead of to represent all groups. That's what I understand.
And do you know the name of the group that you believe was taking
There's
control?
no name of the group. They don't have the legal name for that, but certain members of the congregation that they took control over the situation.
Did you ever share with anyone at the Congress your desire that the title for the Phổ Quang Pagoda should be transferred back to the local people?
Yes, several times.
And who did you speak with about that?
I speak to all the members of the Congress. Yes.
And in what context would you have done that?
Vague.
You mean the context?
Yeah, like was it a phone call? Was it a general meeting?
In the meeting, or sometimes in the phone conference, teleconference.
So you said several times. Would that
Yes.
be 3 times, 4 times?
Yeah, probably 3 times at least.
All right.
Videographer can't get you.
All right, so let's talk about these 3 times that you can remember.
Would you say that again, please?
Sure. Let's talk about these 3 times that you mentioned this to the other members of the executive board. Can you focus on a time when can you tell me which time occurred first, I guess, if that's, or the first time you raised it?
I could not remember, but I think immediately after I first went over there to help the local people, I told the Congress, it's number one, for the interest of everybody, the Congress should transfer, figure out somehow to transfer the ownership of the property back to the local congregation. And the Congress the Congress agree, but say, whom should we transfer to? Because there are several groups. I told them, yes, I agreed. It's not easy, but let me form one group which represent all groups. Yeah, that's what I try to do.
And so, did everyone on the executive committee agree that this was a good plan of action?
Yes, that is good plan. But unfortunately, I was not able to carry out such a plan because I couldn't get cooperation from the local people.
Because you believe you could not get one group to form?
No, as I told you, I went over there and tried to help with try to help the people to talk to each other, to work with each other. But when I left, there's several things that happened. I was not informed. So I learned that there's no there's no mutual trust between us. It's difficult to do it because anyhow, I try to work as a mediator. I do not try to be there as the abbot because I just take responsibility temporarily.
Okay. All right. So, do you remember? So, this was immediately after John Locke had resigned, and you had taken over as the unofficial spiritual leader.
Prior testimony.
Was this is it a face-to-face meeting with people, or was it on the phone?
You mean what meeting?
The discussion where you said immediately, I think we really need to transfer this back. I'm going to try to form a group.
I believe sometimes we face-to-face meeting and sometimes through teleconference. But at that time, it's a more face-to-face meeting.
So can you remember the people that were at those meetings?
I couldn't remember exactly who, but at least there's the president, the secretary general, and the other commissioners. I mean, there's more than enough number who can decide, who can make decision.
Do you recall if Thanh Tran was ever in any of these meetings?
Asked and answered?
No. When I was there, I believe he no longer work as in any position in the temple.
What I'm trying to figure out, though, was Thanh Tran on the executive committee at that point in time when...
No.
No?
No.
Okay. And did you have any representative from the local community participate in these discussions?
No, it's only the central committee matter. Yeah, so we only there's only discussion among the permanent office of the Congress.
All right. So can you remember the next time you talked about it?
I don't, but sometimes a few months later.
Okay.
It's kind
That's okay. That's fair. Okay.
Yes.
It's a long time ago. Yes. All right. So a few months later, did you raise it again at a monthly meeting, or?
Let me tell you this. The Congress has several things to do. So on the agenda, there's several items. So when you brought up something, sometimes people they discuss in 15 and half an hour, 50 minutes and half an hour, and sometimes only a few minutes.
Okay.
So it's hard to say.
And when you raised it again, do you recall why you felt it was necessary to bring the matter to the attention of the Congress again?
Because I just try to accomplish what I supposed to do over there. Actually, I did not have enough time, so I don't want to prolong the situation. I try to shorten my responsibility in Utah as short as possible. Yeah.
So you wanted to shock them, or you wanted to shorten?
Shorten.
Shorten. Okay, shorten. I was like,
Shorten.
you wanted to shock them. All right, shorten. And how about the last time you raised it? Do you remember when that was?
I don't remember. Probably about 2 years after I went over there. After 2 years, I could not get any cooperation from the local people, so I decided not to have anything to do with that or anymore. So I told the Congress in the meeting that please let me resign from the position.
Okay. So, did you set up any procedures or protocols whereby the elected group of people were to contact you or communicate with you?
The only thing I think is obviously by telephone.
Do you recall whether or not they called you and gave you updates?
Sometime. When I first went over there, I talked to them quite often, but later, I mean, I get few phone calls.
So, do you recall if there was any characteristics of the groups that you were discussing? Like, one was more conservative with money, one was more conservative with monks. Do you have any, were you able to break them up in any of those types of categories?
Compound.
Do you know, I believe that when the people had disagreement, they're supposed to make the compromises. However, in Vietnamese community, sometimes they just want to fight. They don't want to talk about compromises. So at the end, I think there's no solution for the problem.
Right, but my question was, were you able to find any characteristics that define the groups? 'Cause I'm trying to figure out who these groups are, and if you can give me any tools to do that, that's what I want from you.
Yes, I told people that how many celebrations we're supposed to do a year, and what we're supposed to do with the facility, and also we're thinking of doing some renovation to be able to have one monk being sent over there to stay there. I mean, permanently instead of temporarily. Actually, I prepare one monk to send over there, but later on, I think it's not suitable for me to send anybody over there.
What do you mean suitable? Like you couldn't find anyone that would go, or?
No, there's one willing to go, but I think I did not get the cooperation from the local members of the congregation, and it's too risky for me to send anybody there without proper preparation for them to be in charge of the situation.
And when you say too risky, do you mean like unfair to unroot a person and send them to Utah? And
well, if I send someone to somewhere, I still want to make sure that they able to handle the situation, and the people like the local congregation listen to them and cooperate with them in order to work out the problems. Yeah.
So, again, can you help me identify who these groups were? Like, were they divided by ages? Were they divided by socioeconomic?
Not they divide age. To my understanding, okay, there are 4 groups. Okay, number 1 is the one who strongly support the Venerable Thích Trí Lãng.
Okay.
And the second group would be the one who against him strongly.
Okay.
And the third group would be the one who's neutral. And the last one, I would say that the one who has no idea. They just want to make the pagoda go back to normalcy as soon as possible. They don't care who's who and who's taking care. So that's how I identify those people.
Gotcha.
Yes.
And when you spoke with these 4 groups, did they all have representatives that you could that you saw?
It's hard to say representative because they never told me that who represent them. However, I did understand that some of them could play quite prominent role. Yeah, prominent role.
Who played a prominent role?
I mean, the one who can convince the other people to agree with them. Yes.
And who would that be?
I don't recall, but the gentleman who's sitting there is the one of them.
So Hoavo?
Yes.
How about Chuck Fan? Do you know him?
Yes, I do.
And would he be one of those people?
Yes, I think so.
And Ton Tran, was he at all involved in
Asked
this?
and answered?
At that time, he, to my understanding, when I was there, he's not with the temple. I mean, to my understanding, I don't know how the other way he associated.
And so, Hoavo and Chuck Fan, if you had to put them in any of these 4 groups, in which one of the 4 groups would they fall?
I do not. I wouldn't want to label them. We belong to what group, but I think they with the other people they really want to see the temple go back to the normal condition.
Okay.
However, to my understanding, they dislike Venerable Thích Giác Đẳng.
Okay.
Yes.
So from that, were some of these groups overlapping then? Could someone possibly be in that don't like Chen Lak,
Yes.
but also want the temple normal, if you will?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because you never asked them to like choose a side, if you will.
No, I
Right.
would not. I would not, because I believe that it's better for everybody just put aside about the differences and thinking about the future of the temple.
And Grace didn't say this, but anytime you need a break, you have to ask.
What?
Anytime you need a break, just ask.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, if you want to take a break, you can just say, I'm tired, or I need to go to the restroom.
You know that last few days is very tiresome for me. I had a funeral of my teachers.
I am sorry.
But I try to work because I know we do not have much time from here.
Thank you for coming. I really appreciate that, especially during such a
Yes.
such a trying time in your life. I know that's difficult.
Thank you.
So I appreciate you being here and being so frank with us. I appreciate it. And it's so pleasant that you speak English. I cannot tell you.
I hope you
What a
understand
welcome,
me. Yes.
what a welcome relief that is. All right, so when this election occurred in around 2004, do you know where the list of people came from that were recommended?
Misstates prior testimony.
I don't
assumes
remember,
facts,
but
not an
they
evidence.
post on the website, on the website, and also I think probably the people have the recording and the record of the members who elected.
Okay, so you think there's a meeting record that out there, but my question to you actually is though, the people that ended up being elected, do you remember if they were nominated by the group?
Yes, at first they nominated, and I got everybody to raise their hand. If there's a majority support, they would be elected.
Do you remember if anyone made any objection that people who weren't members of the society or the association should not be able to vote or anything like that?
Assumes facts, not an evidence.
I didn't recall there's a
Okay.
strong objection like that.
When I've spoken to the people at the Phổ Quang Pagoda, everyone mentions this one story. It must have been made a big impression on them, and I want to know if you remember it. Do you remember making a statement to the members of the Phổ Quang Pagoda, something similar to this? Of course, it's not in Vietnamese, so I'm going to have to translate it. Something of, do you know why the Vietnamese people fell to the communists? Because they were waiting for directions from Washington. And you should not be like that, and you should learn to self-regulate. Do you remember making a statement
Me?
like this? Yes.
No.
You don't remember saying that?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's fine.
For political matter, I would be very careful with my words.
Right. Well, it made a big impression because just so you know, it made a big impression on people. Do you know how you learned that a monk that is not affiliated with the Congress had been invited to the Phổ Quang Pagoda?
Asked and answered?
Would you say that again?
Yes. Do you know how you learned that a monk?
I have heard somebody call me and mention to me there's a monk coming, and who has a such name, and asked me, do I know them? I say I don't know them. Yes.
And do you know if you raised that to the executive board?
I told them only one. I told them once. But it seems that they. What I learned that they did not willing to. They are not willing to. They were not willing to cooperate with me about matter. I think it's just too much for a monk, just to raise the strong voice about the matter, because I do believe the people have the choice. Yeah, they can invite monks as they wish. However, since the property belongs to the Congress, and we have to take the matter seriously. Yes.
So had the title not been held by the Congress, that they invited a monk that wasn't affiliated with the Congress would not have been as serious of an event. Is that what you're telling me?
Relevance, hypothetical.
Let me tell you this, because due to my responsibility, I supposed to report to the Congress, and if there's a monk visit the temple, has some activity without my knowledge, it is not the proper way to carry out my responsibility.
So do you know what happened to the monk that they had invited to the temple?
I don't know. I don't know them by their name. I don't know who they are. That's all. Yeah.
Do you know if someone from the Congress came to handle that monk being at the Phổ Quang Pagoda?
Objection. Assumes facts not an evidence.
You don't know? Okay. All right, that's all I have for now, but I'm going to turn it over to you. And
Can we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
We're turning over. Okay.
We are off the record at 3:54.